Ilona, how did you find carnivore?
Hello, Dave. This is really nice to be here. Um, I think I need to divide how I found carnivore into two things, because I learned about such a thing as carnivore existing quite a few years ago, but then I kind of discovered it for myself, and that was a little bit different. So I learned about carnivore. That was beginning of 2019, and it was just a random. I just opened the computer and my browser was just hinting some links of this stuff that you may want to read or something like that. And that was an article in Times. I think it was Times. Not 100% sure. That about from a guy who was doing research on sugar, and he was quoting Dr. Lustig. And I googled up Dr. Lastic immediately and started to listen to his to the videos that he was posting. And he is not like a carnivore person, but he is very focused on how sugar in different forms, different foods, is working on our body, and how we are being tricked that sugar is giving us happiness, that makes us feel good, and so on and so on. And he was like debunking all that stuff from the endocrinology point of view. So that was really scientific, and I got hooked like immediately, because I I I was struggling with my weight up and down, ever since I was 16. And when I discovered him, I was like 44, 45, something like that. um so it was like a 30 year long battle, and every time I was always good on dieting. So like for a month or two, or maybe even three. But then it was really really hard for me to know what to do after that. So I could adjust to the diet, but then the diet was not sustainable for the long period, because it was depriving, and or required some specific action, account like calorie counting or something like that, and I couldn't keep it up. So the weight was coming back. And after I discovered Dr. Lustig, I realized this is something that would need to be done long term, but this thing is sustainable. I can do it for a long time. It's not like horrible uh, chicken breast with with broccoli and nothing else. I can actually do it. So I started, and I did it. I just cut out all sugary stuff, because when you listen to Dr. Lustig, he says a lot about fructose. Not he makes a distinction between fructose and glucose. So the fructose being the one that is not necessary to our body and doing all the damage, when glucose is just kind of along the ride, right? And glucose can be used by our body. So and he was making like a really really good distinction that for our hormones like insulin, it makes a difference whether we eat a bagel or a muffin. Like, it's not the same thing. Even if it's the same amount of calories, it's not the same thing. So that was my beginning. And I did that for a few months. I lost like 12 kilos or something. But then Christmas happened, and Christmas is half of December till half of January is a really, really difficult for me because there are two general celebrations like Christmas and New Year, and then there are two birthdays in my family. My husband and my younger son, they have birthdays in the beginning of January, so it's a celebration all the time. So that was hard. And I got distracted by the cakes and everything, and came back to the previous kind of struggling. How do I eat not to gain weight? And that was up and down for like 4 5 years, and I hit my highest during that time actually in terms of weight. I already knew that I need to get rid of sugar and sugary stuff in order to stay in a with a decent weight. I never wanted to be like extremely skinny, but I did not want it to be obesity too, like my BMI used to show. So um, so yeah, I was struggling back and forth. And then my husband is kind of a little bit of a adventurous type, and he bought Jeep to do off-road trips. And we went to one of those off-road trips, and there was like a bump, and I hit my head, and I end up in a hospital. It was nothing really bad that happened, but it was enough for me to end up on observation in a neurology ward. And I that was beginning of 2023. No, 2024. Sorry. And I realized, being in the same room with three other ladies, they were all diabetic. They had all problems moving around. They had stuff like stroke, like a heart attack in history. One lady was really, really having serious trouble, like moving her legs even. And and I was kind of witness to doctors doing all sorts of searching and medical stuff and medical tests and so on and so on. And they were taking insulin and other diabetes medicine, and receiving like a banana for a snack because you have to have a snack, and a bread that was my bread was just white bread, but their bread was pretending to be a dark bread, which really was just a white bread with addition of a caramel. And I knew that just by looking at the bread. They didn't know that it's not the dark bread, even though the hospital was trying. So they were like, the food was just making them worse. And that one lady that they couldn't diagnose her, she had trouble moving around. She had stroke in history. She had heart attack in history. She had poorly managed diabetes, and they were doing like plasmapheresis, like something else, and she had borreliosis, Lyme disease, and so on and so on. And she was like in and out. She was not present all the time, like in her mind, I could tell. And she was 9 years older than me, like 9 years. And I freaked out. Like, this is not my future. And and she was more or less the same weight as me. And I was thinking like, that cannot be. I don't want to be there. I have to do something. So I decided to just go and do it seriously, do it strictly this time, and just no fiddling with the diet. Just I'm gonna do the I wasn't decided on carnivore yet, because carnivore was kind of, I had it somewhere in the category of very strict keto that I didn't really need. I I heard about Michaela Peterson. I heard her talk, and I heard about other people doing carnivore. I was listening to Ken Berry and other doctors, um, but I wasn't really sold to carnivore because it felt kind of a too strict to what I needed. Uh, and that was 1.5 years ago that I was in the hospital, and I said, okay, I'm doing very strict keto. I'm not doing carnivore. That was not on my mind, but I'm doing very strict keto. And I started, and it was well. It was really, really good. I started losing weight. I lost like 40 pounds within half a year, 18 kilos. So it was a really good success. But at the same time, I was also um, um, how do I describe that? I was cheating a little bit. It was not like cheating that I was eating bad stuff, but I was eating stuff that I was allowed in a carnivore to make me feel better on a diet. So, like plain yogurt with dark chocolate, like some nuts, like mascarpone cheese. It's like ricotta with dark chocolate, stuff that was not to nourish, but to make me feel emotionally better, that I had a dessert, that I had something to make me feel good. And those things were more and more and more. And I didn't know how to do that. And if I should do it to get rid of those, I had a sense that maybe I should, but I wasn't really, I didn't know how. And the weight plateaued, and at some point started to creep up again. And I was still keto, but I was regaining the weight that I lost. It wasn't as fast as it would before, but still, it was regain. I was regaining. And oh, and one more thing that is very important to my story. I was for last 5 years, a little before COVID started. So like end of 2019, I started to have like serious problems with my parents that were both alcoholic, and it was really, really damaging to my feeling good, sort of. So and then COVID hit. My father got dementia, alcohol induced dementia, like he's got brain damage. My mom was trying to take care of him, but wanted to my help. I didn't know how to help to make it efficient, and so on and so on. Um, then COVID hit, and then a few months later, my mom died. I think she just gave up with taking care of my father. She didn't know how to let go, but she didn't know how to take care of him. And I was visiting her, and I could see that she's just slowly and slowly letting go. And she did. And she died in September 2020. And that is when my crippling depression started, because I just realized that now my father is his well-being is on me. My immediate family, my husband and my sons, who were stuck at home because of COVID, uh, are on me. I was the main. I'm responsible for cooking. I'm responsible for making sure that they have, school and stuff done. So I had all those things on my head, and I just couldn't uh, handle it. And I caved in to depression. And I was just, I don't know, 4 or 5 months on disability, uh, drugs and like medications and everything. Uh, and, uh, and the weight was crippling up at that point. And, um, I knew that the keto could help, but I just didn't know how to balance it. So I was back and forth, back and forth. And also, medications were back and forth. I hate taking medications, just hate it organically, but I had to. At least I was told I had to. So I did. And uh, I was maybe getting better for a little bit in terms of depression, but not so much. Trying to get rid of the drugs, and then the depression was coming back stronger, and it was like a vicious cycle. And then when I discovered, I was in a place where I was thinking maybe it would be better for my family if I'm gone. Like, of course, it's stupid, but that's the kind of thinking that creeps up when you're depressed. And and when I had my hospital event, I was really, really, really low. So I was thinking, maybe that is also a good thing. Instead of taking a lot of new medication, maybe that will help me to get out. So I had a really, really strong motivation. I wanted to prevent any serious conditions that may happen to me. I was perimenopausal, so I know that after menopause, things start to go downhill really quick if you're not doing anything with it. So I wanted to prevent stuff. I wanted to feel better in my head, and I wanted to lose weight, and I wanted to. I was hearing about, and I was listening to the videos all the time, and I heard about the strong why, and I thought that's my why. That the combination of those three things, that's my why. I'm gonna do that now, and I did, and it was great. For half a year, it was wonderful. I had a little bit of cake here and there, but I knew that, just one day of having a little cake, it's not going to affect my health, my physical health. And I didn't think that it may affect my mental health. So, maybe once a month I had a glass of wine or something like that, because it's allowed on keto. Like, if you're stick to dry red wine, that's fine. Um, and then after a few months of plateauing and the weight slowly creeping up again, I discovered that I am not really as keto as I thought I am. Like, those carbs, it's really aggregated to a lot of carbs once you count it. So, and it was a little bit depressing again. And then January this year, I realized that it's like I can no longer keep it up. I have like couple weeks in keto and the week off, and then 2 3 weeks in keto and the week off. And I couldn't, I didn't know why I was coming back to that. I had my strong why, and I realized that's the addiction. That's the addiction, and it's not something I can control. And I was listening to Dr. Rob Sivas. It's probably one of my favorite. His videos are the favorite ones to listen to. Even though he's not like strict carnivore, but he is very much into dealing with the addiction. And I realized this is serious. This is not like, uh, sweet tooth. This is not, oh, I need that for a little bit of, to feel better. Chocolate doesn't judge, chocolate listens, right? Those kinds of things. It's no, it's not that. It's addiction, and it's serious, and it's as serious as alcohol addiction or drug addiction or anything else, and it has to be treated the same way. And I also realized that because I had a little bit, my parents were alcoholics, I knew a lot of addicted people to different things. So I knew that it's not an easy thing to get rid of, and I knew how those denials and those lying to yourself, how it works. Um, and I was terrified to discover that in myself, that that's exactly what I'm doing. I'm just lying to myself. And Rob Sivas said, you do not, one of the videos says that you do not have control once you start eating. Once you start eating those things, you have absolutely no control. Don't judge yourself because you cannot stop. Once you start chips or ice cream or whatever, don't judge yourself because you cannot stop. Focus on not making the first bite. That's where you do have control, not making the first bite. And that hit me. That was really really something hard, serious. And I realized also, another of the videos, another, maybe that was, no, that was not Georgia Eid. There is another doctor that I researcher, maybe, that I cannot remember the name. Maybe I can search for it later on.
Is it a man or woman?
A woman. She is doing research on addiction and pain and pleasure and dopamine in general. And she says that it's a balance thing, that we are supposed to live in the balance, and that is the main motivation for life: avoiding pain and seeking pleasure. As a from biological standpoint, that we're not really having much more motivation to life if the pleasure and pain system is kind of, uh, if something's wrong with it. And addiction is precisely that. Addiction is when you have all the dopamine system, the reward system, uh, compromised. And that's why all of the addicted people, no matter what you're addicted to, all the addicted people are depressed, like more or less, but that's a definition of depression, that you do have that dopamine system seriously compromised. Not all depressed people are addicted, because probably, or I don't know. I'm not a researcher. But what I'm trying to say, that it's a really really connected. So it's not a weird thing to be depressed when you are addicted. it's a natural, normal thing. So I put the two and two together, and I realized, okay, so how do I not take the first bite and try to approach my depression from the food perspective, getting rid of my addiction? And I did, and that was mm, probably mid May, somewhere around this year, around my 49th birthday. Um, and I switched to carnivore uh, because Um, I wanted both things. I wanted to keep losing weight because I'm still not where I wanted to be. Uh, but I thought that maybe this will help me with the depression. I didn't have like a lot of hope because I still couldn't see much difference between keto and carnivore. Like, I didn't know uh, that doing keto and doing carnivore feels completely different, like completely different. But I started, and day after day and after day, and I didn't feel wonderful right away. Like, I had the runs and pains and aches in my belly. Like, I didn't know how much fat I should be doing, how much is too much, how much is too little. So that's an experimentation, and it's still ongoing. That the experimentation is still ongoing. But, and interestingly enough, the weight is not coming off yet, at least not fast. I mean, little bit, but it's not very fast, which surprised me a little bit. But what I felt in terms of mental health was just incredible. Like, it's not something like I used to treat diets and restrictions as I need to just push through. I need to survive this. It's going to be better at some point. It's going to be like, once I do it, I will survive it, right? It's going to be hard, but I'm going to survive it. No, not this time. This time, when I approached a carnivore, that's what was my thinking in the beginning. But very quickly, I realized that this is not restrictive diet. This is like my superpower. Like, um, I don't even have good words to describe it, because it's like Dr. Rob Sivers says that. Be careful, be aware that life is going to throw a curveball at you once in a while. It's not going to disappear just because you change the way you eat. Life is life. And whenever I had a curveball back in the day, I had to go and eat something that would make me feel pleasure, that would make me feel better. It did for a while. But now on carnivore, it feels like I don't need it. And that just surprised me so much that I didn't expect that effect. That a week ago, when we were trying to have the first meeting, um, I had a really, really difficult conversation with my husband. We're going through a little bit of a rough patch. It's not like horrible, but it is a difficult moment, let's say. We're 20 years married, so and I my normal reaction in this situation, normal, I mean, like back in the day, would be to go to the store, grab a pound of tiramisu and a little of ice cream, and put it down, just eat it within half an hour or something like that, because that was soothing me. It was serious. And now I was like, no, I don't want that. I know I don't want that. I know I can go through the rough patch. I know I can handle the difficult moment in my life without retreating to those things. And I seriously felt like that's my secret weapon. I don't know how better describe that. Like the carnivore is making me strong. And I'm off my meds. I'm not the depression meds. I am in. I think I am postmenopausal by now. So it's not. My body doesn't have the resources that I had previously, and I was caving into sweets. Uh, but now it feels like I have much more resource to handle whatever's coming my way. Like, so yeah, so I'm like
That's
2 months carnivore, and discovering every day that this is the best thing to do. Like, I'm
that's
still drinking coffee
fantastic.
though.
Right. So that's fantastic. And you notice that, I mean, that change has happened pretty quickly,
Oh
only a
yes.
couple of months in. So what are you eating day to day?
Usually I do not eat breakfast. I learned that during the keto phase that I don't need breakfast. So I wait until some days until 12, some days until 2 p.m., some days until 6 p.m. There is no rule. Without food, just with coffee. And then I eat eggs. I really like eggs. Sometimes hard boiled with the steak, sometimes sunny side up with a little bit of beef. Sometimes I do mince beef with eggs mixed into it, so it's like scrambled eggs with beef. I don't know how to call it because I just heard someone doing that. I never ate that thing before, but I just heard someone, I think on your videos, one of your videos, that someone was doing that, and I just liked the idea, and that's my staple now. Um sometimes I do pork, like, because in Poland pork is really strong. Like, not many people eat beef, but everybody eats pork, unless you're a vegetarian, of course. I don't do chicken because chicken now tastes like paper. I don't know. It's like,
So yeah, I describe it as chicken is the water of meats.
yeah, yeah, something like that. And also, another thing that I have discovered, that beef is very tasty with salt and nothing else. But every other meat, I mean, I don't do lamb because it's not really popular in here, but pork and chicken requires a lot of spices just to be tasty. Um, and and those spices, like, if something's really hot and spicy, first it's plants, and I don't want to do plants if I don't have to. Secondly, that also spikes dopamine. I don't know if people know that, but spicy food spikes dopamine. So it doesn't help you fight addiction if the dopamine is going up, right? So I'd rather avoid it. It happens like on occasion that I have a little bit of bacon, or but it I realized that at some point that it maybe not exactly triggers me, but kind of little bit. So I try to avoid it. I avoid dairy, not because I have a problem in my stomach with dairy or allergy or anything like that, but but it triggers me. Like, I want more. If I have dairy, I want more. So sometimes there is a just tiny little bit of cheese sprinkled on something that I do, but not very often because I find it triggering. Yeah.
Ah.
Yogurt
Um,
feels like dessert, so I don't want to do desserts.
right, right. Yeah, I don't eat yogurt either, and I feel kind of along similar. I feel like it looks too much like ice cream, so
Yes.
I shouldn't go near it. Um, so are your family on board with this? How do they feel about it?
So my husband is off and on. I think he is on the way to discover what I have discovered. I'm not pushing though. I am preparing food for the whole family, which sometimes was difficult because my boys, they are 15 and 10. They don't want to follow mama. They rather do bread rolls and ice cream and everything. So I can't get the stuff out of my home. So I live with the stuff in the home, which with carnivore, that really helps because I don't feel like I have to do this. I made a decision. I live on beef and eggs, and that's it. And yeah, I'm not starting. I'm not starting. But I do the shopping, so I provide the stuff for the boys. Just realized I was trying to make that decision some time ago. What would be better if I because I could kind of force them to do that because I'm the main shopper and cooker at home. So it's basically in my hands. But then if they feel forced, how will they feel about that diet? So I decided, maybe not necessarily. My husband is on board with keto. So I'm doing, and he doesn't want to eat the eggs mixed with mincemeat. It looks disgusting to him. So that's my thing. um but he enjoys the steak, the if I cook pork or chicken with some cheese sauce. He eats that, and he's pretty happy with that. He does some veggies, and um yeah, my boys are not.
Yeah.
So
Have has your husband noticed the change in you? Like he's noticed that you are kind of, I don't know, maybe brighter or more energetic?
He noticed the moment I started keto that there is a lot of difference because keto was working in terms of all that um, like physical changes, right? The energy, the brain fog being gone, and that I had just I suddenly was able to do everything around the house and stuff, and not feeling horrible because of that, and not sleeping through half of the day, and not being crippled with depression. For when I was really depressed, I couldn't sleep, so I was watching stuff in the night, and then I was sleeping through most of the day, and I was no good to anything, not to anyone. I was not helping anyone. Um, so yeah, so that changed dramatically, but that was the change that happened during keto. The carnivore, I think it's more mine. I don't think on the outside there is much difference because the energy is the same. Um, the kind of like I'm losing weight, but not much. So um, of course he know the thing that brought him on board was that he noticed how fast I was losing weight. And that was back in 2019 that I first started, and he also started with me. And I made my decision into carnivore. I don't think he made that connection yet that carnivore is better than keto for your own internal thing. I think I see that he holds on to those little desserts with really dark chocolate a lot. which is okay. I mean, everybody has their own moment, right? I feel like carnivore is mine, like my superpower, and I'm not trying anyone else to have that superpower, to force that superpower on them. So yeah, but
So,
they are supporting me. That's important. So
that's awesome. So, can you see yourself doing this permanently?
absolutely, like I don't see myself coming back, not even to keto. I mean, mm-mm, no way. We had visitors over just a few weeks ago, like 3 4 weeks ago, for barbecue, and they know we're keto, so they're not bringing any stuff. I told them, if you want any carbs, we're not having any. You got to bring your own if you want to eat something. So they brought their own bread and stuff, and they brought something that, it's kind of, I don't know how in other places, but usually when you go over for a barbecue, you bring something with yourself, not just for yourself, but for the people that are hosting. And so they brought this little mushroom filled with cheese and ham, and it really is just a little bit of mushroom. That's a plant. I'm not sure even if mushroom is biologically a plant, but yeah, something in between
Right.
plant and an animal. But it's not an animal. That's what I'm saying. It's not an animal product. So and I had like a couple of those mushrooms, and I felt like, no, that's kind of like, I don't want to do that. I mean, I was being polite. I wanted to, be polite to try, but no, I'm just, it's not worth it. I'm staying with what I do so far and let it be like that. I can also, when back in the day when I was thinking about diets, it was always thinking about restrictions, what I won't be having for the time, or maybe till the end of my life, whatever. And I felt deprived. But now what I feel is more like, um, I don't have to make the choice. I don't have to think about it. I don't have to decide every day. Like, I'm going to the store once a week. I purchase like a stock of mincemeat and a bunch of eggs, and that's what I eat. I don't have to think about it. It's enough of a, well, burden may not be a good word, but enough of uh, having something in my mind to decide what will my kids and my husband eat, that at least I don't have to think about what I eat because I know. And it's a relief. It's a huge relief for me.
Yeah, I feel the same. I like I always joke about it. I say the one of the best things about carnivore is the no thinking part.
Yes.
I love it. I love it
Yes.
because it means you can devote resources to things that matter. It's really nice.
And I gotta say, I was thinking about it. The carnivore is also like a little bit of a therapy because uh, once you have those emotions and you're not dealing with them with with your food, with the stuff that you put in your mouth, uh, then they are with you. They are not obliterated, not, forgotten, pushed down somewhere. You have to deal with those emotions. And it works for me a little bit like a therapy because uh, I see the emotions. Have no like I have no willingness to push them down, and I face it. And this is incredible. Like, I've been in therapy for 7 years and I dealt with a lot of stuff, but this is another level. This is more. This is like, I finally feel like I am with myself, taking care of my needs. Like, because I was brought up in a way that everybody's needs were a lot more important than mine. And at some point, I didn't even know. I still struggle with knowing what are my needs. So, and this helps so much to be with myself, to prioritize my well-being.
Huh. I mean, it's awesome to see what a change it's made. Um,
Yeah.
so, Ilona, if a friend asked you about carnivore and said, "Look, I want to give it a try. Tell me what to do." What advice or tips would you give them based on your experience?
So I guess that depends on the person, but I tend to think that step by step easing into carnivore is better than doing a jump from high plant into no plant, especially because of the sugar. Because most people are not aware how full of sugar everything is. So probably just going one step at the time, and discovering how your body reacts, how your mind reacts to it, discovering what you really want, what is your purpose in it. Yeah, easing into carnivore probably would be my thing. Yeah.
Yeah. And I think you say something really important there. Most of us don't realize just how much sugar we're consuming day to day.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's very scary, and especially because, and unless you're really into this area of nutrition, you don't realize that basically every carbohydrate's becoming sugar when you eat it as well, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Even the spinach, even the kale. And once you're, that's what I think. I've never been vegetarian. I had my attempt, but I passed out, not passed out, lost consciousness out of malnutrition after 4 days. So that's yeah. So that's not a good thing, and not for me at least. So after you're vegetarian, in your if you're vegetarian, then you need to, if you eat like things like salad and like kale and all those things that seem healthy, but you're not eating meat that gives you sustenance, then you have to eat a lot, like a lot of it, to get just the calories, right? And then I, yeah, without sustenance, without the protein, everything becomes just empty calories. That's what I feel.
Yeah, agreed. But yeah, it's really nice to hear that that you feel like it's so good that this is the way forward.
Oh, yes.
Um, so, Ilona, if people want to reach out to you, do you have any way of getting in contact?
You can share my email. That's great. But I don't really, I do have an account on Instagram, but it's not, I'm not posting anything. So I can also give my handle on the Instagram. It's usually, I used to do that in the pandemics, to post pictures because I thought that would just, make me feel better. But I don't really do that anymore. So yeah,
Yeah,
not really.
no worries. No worries. Well, I'll share your email in the show notes. Ilona, thank you so much for coming on and sharing your story and experiences. I really appreciate your time.
Thank you for having me. That was great.